Hey guys, you're watching Archangel Industries, and today we're going to be taking a look at something a little bit different. So, my original intent for this channel was for it to be primarily a gun channel. So I apologize if I misled some of you guys or just kind of didn't really make that clear. But yeah, so I'm a huge gun guy. Let me tell you a little bit about myself before I dive into some of the things we're going to get to in this episode. So I am a huge gun guy. I'm pretty much self-taught in terms of like firearms, that kind of thing. My dad was really big into firearms, and I kind of just went from there. A lot of dry fire training, that sort of thing. A lot of going to the range, a lot of just getting my hands on every gun I could possibly get my hands on. Just shooting everything I could possibly get my hands on. Just being around guns and stuff. I've done a lot of reading and a lot of just training on my part. And a lot of watching certain people that I like to take notes for, inspiration from, that sort of thing. And Lucas Botkin kind of inspired me to do this video. If you knew about him and DRX Arms and that sort of thing. So if you know him, cool. If you don't, whatever. But he's the one who actually inspired me to start a gun channel of my own. And here at college, I can't really own my own firearms, that sort of thing. So, I can't really shoot anything. But I can definitely do these talks and help you guys out with whatever you need, that sort of thing. So we're going to dive right into it. And hopefully this video helps you out. So the best gun for beginners, first gun buyers, that sort of thing. This is going to explain like everything you need to know about like prices of ammo and prices of gun. We'll get to the ammo in a little bit, but the price of the gun and that sort of thing, and just navigating through buying your first gun. It can be difficult, especially if you don't know what you need or what you want, and that's the first thing you actually have to figure out. So point number one is you have to figure out what you are going to use that gun for. If you're going to use it for home defense or concealed carry, or just to have a gun, like a fun gun to shoot. Now, I recommend you have a purpose, not just for it to be a gun to shoot, to have fun with. I recommend you have a purpose, especially when you're buying your first gun. If you're just trying to get your first gun ever, which is what we're going to mainly be focusing on, I recommend that you get the AR-15. It's one of the most popular platforms now. It's the most efficient, proficient weapon platform that's available to the public right now. It's the weapon that our military uses. It's extremely modular. You can do anything with the AR-15, pretty much. You can have it do long-range stuff, sort of. You can have it do really close-range stuff. The Ranger Blackout's now a thing, too, so you can have subsonic, suppressed guns. But we'll get into that later. But right now, the best gun that I can recommend, or the best gun that you can buy right now as a beginner, straight up beginner, is the Palmetto State Arms Freedom Rifle, blemished. It goes right now. You can buy it. It's Freedom Week, so you can buy the blemished 16-inch barrel, 13.5-inch handguard Freedom Rifle for $479. Look, $479 is probably the greatest price I have ever seen for an AR-15. This thing was going for like $400 at some point, and I think on like certain sales you can get it for pretty much $400. The blemished part doesn't really mean anything. Usually it just means like there's a scrape or a scratch somewhere, which does not have any bearing on the actual value of the rifle, in my opinion. So that's one thing to consider, and yes, I am in a suit, in case you were wondering. Anyway, let's talk about the quality. So the quality of the Freedom Rifle, I would put it, if you were going to put it on like a scale of 1 to 10, the quality of the Freedom Rifle, I'd put it about like a 7.5, almost an 8, and there's a couple reasons for that. So overall, the quality is going to be really good. Palmetto State Arms has really like nailed down the quality to like price ratio, in my opinion. They really have like kind of moved ahead in that aspect. They're really budget friendly. I mean, $479, less than $500, gets you a fully built AR-15 with Magpul furniture, and I think you can even sometimes get the backup sights with it too, which is that's mind blowing to me that you can get that for less than $500. But the quality, like I said, it's a 7.5 out of 10 in my opinion. There's a couple reasons why. One, the bolt carrier group isn't okay. If you're expecting to get Knight's Armament, or CAC, or Colt or Ruger, sort of maybe, like that sort of quality, or Daniel Defense, that sort of quality, you're really not going to get that until you start spending a little bit more money. You can always upgrade your bolt carrier group, and that's one thing that I will go over in a little bit. You can always upgrade parts on your rifle on an AR-15, which is like amazing, because then you can spend, money on a budget rifle now, and then if you want to upgrade to some better parts, maybe a Geisley trigger, or Radian Arms charging handle, or like a better optic, or a better barrel, or muzzle devices, you can always upgrade that later. You don't have to get the best stuff right now, and I actually recommend you don't get the best stuff right away. You start training with basic stuff, but we'll get to that later. So, but yeah, the quality, it's really middle of the ground towards the higher end stuff. I mean, it's not high end, but it's not like medium amount, if that makes sense. It's very like good, really solid parts for the money. Now again, it's going to be mil spec parts, so they're not the most amazing thing in the world, but they'll get you by. They'll shoot, they'll go bang, they will lay rounds down range. I mean, that's pretty much what you're going to be getting with a rifle that's under $1,000, that sort of thing. But yeah, the quality's good. You'll probably make it to like 10,000 rounds before you need to start replacing maybe a few things. But yeah, the triggers are great. Obviously, they're mil-spec triggers, so they're going to last a long time. It's just the bolt carrier group, really, that you got to worry about with, budget rifles, that sort of thing, because they could wear out. They're not made using the most amazing high-quality parts. But they're still great, don't get me wrong. Like, you will definitely get 10,000 rounds out of this rifle as long as you take care of it. No guarantees, but most likely you will get 10,000 rounds before you need to replace whatever, anything like that. Again, as long as you replace, or excuse me, as long as you take care of the gun, you oil it, everything like that. Reputability. Palmetto State Arms is really reputable right now. They're more of an up and coming company, and they have a lot of influence on like younger, more beginner gun owners. Sorry, I didn't mean to bump you. And that's mainly just because of the price. Their prices are really good. They have really good stuff. And that's one thing that you have to consider when you're thinking about buying from a company, is how reputable are they? Like, are they gonna take care of their customers? And I think, honestly, their customer service for me has been really good. Excuse me. I've never really had any bad experiences with them. And again, in any company, you're always going to have issues, that sort of thing, but it's really nothing to worry about. They're really reputable. They know what they're doing. They take good care of you. So, that sort of thing. You're not going to have to worry about them hanging out to dry on their rifles and stuff like that. They're really good. More about the Freedom Rifle. It gives you a lot of training value. Because it is so basic, you really nail down the fundamentals without having to have interference from like really nice parts giving you an advantage when you're first starting out. You really have to learn the right way, as long as you keep the rifle stock for the most part. You're gonna have to learn the right way to do everything, everything like that. Like, you're gonna nail down the fundamentals as long as you train with consistency. The Palmetto State Freedom Rifle is gonna give you a lot of training value, in my opinion. Just because it is so basic, and you really just, again, you nail down those fundamentals as long as you're being consistent and you're training the right way. So things to consider. There are a couple different things that, like I was mentioning earlier, but one of them is you can upgrade this rifle. Like, you can definitely upgrade it if you want. It's not that hard to upgrade stuff on a rifle as long as you have an armorer's wrench. You can pretty much upgrade almost any part on a gun, as long as you have Loctite, a couple weird sized Allen keys and some screwdrivers and whatever, and armorer's wrench is the biggest thing. I recommend that if and when you do buy an AR-15, or any gun for that matter, but mainly an AR-15, you buy an armorer's wrench. They're fairly inexpensive as long as you get them from the right company, and they're just good to have. Just keep them in your pack. You can replace, you can take off or put on flash hiders, buffer tubes. They've got a castle nut thing in there for an armorer's wrench. You've got a lot of different parts and a lot of different things on an AR-15, a lot of different screws and that sort of thing on an AR-15. And the armorer's wrench has a lot of those different sizes and wrenches and that sort of thing on there. So majority of the time you're going to find, as long as you have, like, again, Allen keys, an armorer's wrench, and a screwdriver with some different bits and stuff, you're most likely going to be okay. And a lot of stuff that you put on your guns will already come with the Allen keys that you need, most likely. But that's just something to consider. Get tools, get lube. For lubrication, if you're going to get that along with your AR-15, I recommend it is Extreme Weapons lubricant, Slip 2000. It's one of the best gun lubes I've ever used. It's really good stuff. You can pick it up like a field kit, or not a field kit, like a pack of like the big bottle with I think the brush, and like the small bottle. I think that's what it comes with for like $20. And it'll last you forever. I mean, you don't need much of this stuff anyway because it's just so good. That's something to consider. Also, ammo factors into that's a big factor into your gun because that's what you fuel it with. For training ammo, you can kind of put whatever you want through it. I recommend, though, if you're going to like use this gun for home defense, that sort of thing, maybe get some different ammo. And there's tons of videos out there for like 5.56 home defense weapons or ammo and stuff like that. Like, there's plenty of videos out there. If you want to check those out, that'll help you out. And it honestly comes down to personal preference, like what ammo do you need and what ammo do you want for the job, whatever. But I recommend that for training ammo, you get some good, reputable brand of ammo. But you don't have to spend crazy money on Hornady ammo or SIG ammo or anything like that. You can just make sure you're buying a decent brand of ammo. And also, if you buy a 5.56 rifle, make sure that you buy 5.56 or 223 ammo. If you buy a 223 rifle, make sure that you're only buying 223 ammo. And don't buy a 223 wild barrel. Just don't do it. If you want my recommendation, when you're buying your first AR-15, just buy 5.56. Buy a 5.56 AR-15. That's the NATO round, and it's compatible with anything. So you can run any ammo you want in it, and it'll be completely fine. There's a lot of things to consider. You obviously, with an AR-15, all the controls on it are the exact same as any other AR-15. So once you learn that, you'll be able to shoot pretty much anything in dry fire. We were talking about training. Dry fire. Just dry fire. Go to your basement, and get a piece of like painter's tape, put a little thing on the wall, and just get used to bringing the gun up and shooting, and get used to like not flinching and bringing it up and making that trigger drop, hammer drop, whatever. Rack it, do it again, click, Look up some dry fire drills. That's honestly how I got pretty good at shooting. I've competed in competitions and won second place, third place trophies fairly consistently, like every so many years. Maybe a first place here and there, or actually, I don't know if I've won a first place yet. I might have, I can't remember. But I know I have plenty of second place trophies that I've won, so if that gives you any, I don't know, who I am or whatever, or what I've done, accomplished, whatever, I don't think that helps you at all, but if it does, there you go. But that's honestly what helped me win some of those trophies, was just dry firing, because I never really got a whole lot of chance to train in those couple years that I did go and compete, because I had school. But yeah, just get used to your gun, and once you get used to that AR-15, you're going to be able to pick up any AR-15 ever, flick that safety off, and shoot it just fine. For training videos, TRX Arms has a lot of good training videos. If you go to their website, they have a lot of good stuff on there. I will be making a full training video on this channel at some point. I just don't know when. Obviously, I can't right now because I don't have the ability to go shoot and do stuff with an AR-15. But I will be making that at some point. But for right now, TRX Arms has a lot of good training stuff, and that's where I learned a lot of stuff. They have a lot of good training resources and videos on there, so you can check them out if you want. Anything else that you need to figure out, you'll figure out on your own. It can be, again, it will be daunting. Like, it will be scary when you buy your first gun, because you won't really know what to get. You won't really know if this is good or that's good or what's good. But hopefully this helps you kind of understand. If you want an AR-15, if you want a rifle, if you want your first gun ever, I recommend you get the Palmetto State Arms Freedom Rifle. Again, it's like $480, $479 right now. If it's on sale, sometimes you can get it for $400, like I said before. Just make sure you get the blemished one, and that'll set you up. Anything else you should consider? Optics. I recommend you get a red dot. SIG makes a great one right now that's super cheap. If you want to go bare bones, minimum budget, whatever, don't go to Amazon, please. But SIG makes an optic called the Romeo MSR. And it's like a $70 red dot, and it's super cheap and honestly really good. That's what I had for my first optic. Or it's one of the ones I put on a budget rifle, and it actually performed pretty well. I was really surprised. If you want to go like higher tier, you can get like an Aimpoint. Trijicon, I don't think really makes any good ones for the money. Vortex makes the Spark, I believe it is. And then Crimson Trace has some decent budget red dots. So if you're looking for budget, you can go to some of those companies that I mentioned there. I don't recommend you get a scope, especially for a rifle like this. You're not going to be able to shoot super well at range. I mean, especially with the quality of the barrel, which again is not bad, but it's not professional level. So just something to consider. Anything else that you should consider is just know what you want in that rifle. Get magazines, get tons of PMags. I recommend you get PMags. Just get them. Don't get the steel mags unless you need them for a specific reason. But PMags are great. They work great for training. The windowed ones are super cool because you can see how many rounds are left in the magazine. That's super cool. Get lots of magazines. Because that rifle is an M-LOK rifle, you can get BCM rail covers to give you a little bit of extra grip. I don't recommend you get a foregrip or a vertical grip or anything like that right off the bat. Just get some rail covers from BCM and you'll be good to go. It'll keep you consistent and it'll help you train right off the bat and everything. But yeah, backup red dots, or backup iron sights, excuse me, with your red dot if you can use them, if it's the right height, that sort of thing. But that's all up to you. You can use iron sights for all I care. You can do whatever you want. But that pretty much explains it. I mean, it's really simple. If you want a pistol, the PSA Dagger, Palmetto State Armory Dagger, is basically a Glock clone. And that's a really good pistol too. I've bought one of those and shot it, and it runs pretty good. I've never really had any issues with it once I cleaned it and, you know, ran it and like made sure it was good to go and just cycled it through a couple times. It functions great. I mean, I've shot probably 250 rounds out of mine so far, and I've had no issues with it really, except again, like I said, whenever I first started shooting it, it had a little bit of issues, but that was not the gun's fault. We were just working it in. But that's another good option if you're looking for a pistol. But honestly, for your first gun, I recommend you get a rifle. That way you have home defense down. You don't have to conceal carry right away. You can get a little bit of knowledge of guns under your belt, that sort of thing before. But again, all just, you know, suggestions, that sort of thing. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, I'd really appreciate a like. Again, you don't have to. I'd appreciate it. And please consider subscribing, because I'll definitely be putting out more of these. I'm going to call them pep talks, or, you know, I think I'm just going to call them pep talks. where I'll just sit down with you guys, explain stuff, one takes, that sort of thing. So I hope this helps you out. Leave a comment what you want to see next, because that would be awesome if I can know what you guys want to see. I'll make it. I'll try to explain everything I can the best way I can. That sort of thing. But yeah, that's it for now. Signing off. This has been Archangel Industries. My name is Bryce, and I'll see you guys next time.